Hello everybody, this is JAG and this is a Street Fighter Legacy video vlog number 4. And it is titled the Street Fighter World War storyline. So I'm going to do a quick speed run of the storyline, why it's taking a while for Joey Ansa and the team to make Street Fighter World Warrior. So let's get down to it. Street Fighter World War is a complicated thing to do because it's so mixed and scattered that the games don't follow the canon. You know, Street Fighter 3 is not the sequel to Street Fighter 2. You know, and Street Fighter Alpha is a prequel to Street Fighter 2, but it was made after Street Fighter 3, during Street Fighter 3, you know, and Street Fighter 3 has other sequels like Second Impact and Third Strike and stuff like that. Then there's Street Fighter 1, which they don't, you know, it's there, it exists, it's the first game. And then there's Street Fighter 4, that's before Street Fighter 3, and then Street Fighter 5, it's so complicated. Then you have the animes. The animes are so mixed, like you know, you have Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, and then you have Street Fighter Alpha, and then you have Street Fighter 2V, and then you have Street Fighter Generation. Now you have Street Fighter Ultra 4 and Street Fighter Super 4 and animated, you know, and then now they're going to make Street Fighter 5 storyline that goes with Street Fighter 5 within the game, which I think is cool. But it's so mixed. You also have the Udon comic books, you know, so people don't know what to follow. People want to follow the Udon comics, they think that's the canon, and people want to follow the games. People want to follow the actual understanding of the series. They don't know where to go. They want to follow the anime, but they feel Alpha is the proper anime. They feel Street Fighter 2V is the proper anime, but it's hard to tell. You know, that's where the argument comes. How does this all begin? How does it all start? And why? Okay, so this is what happened. So Joey Ansa has been trying to make this Street Fighter for a while, but it's hard. It was difficult. So because, you know, Street Fighter 4 was coming out, they said, all right, let's do something small. So he pitched an idea to Capcom. Capcom then, after all this, then even Capcom was kind of scared, like, I don't know. I mean, we'll let you, but and Joey Ansa had to go, okay, you know, we'll take you down and we'll just mark it as a fan-made video, so you guys won't get in trouble. That's what he did. So Joey Ansa made the video, and Street Fighter Legacy was a hit, millions and millions of views on YouTube. It was perfect. The idea was great and accurate. Okay, everything was perfect because Ryu and Ken were fighting, and that never happened. They were fighting like the games. They were using the moves like the game. The action was fast-paced, but it made sense. It was cool to see Akuma in the sense that this is how a Street Fighter should be. After that, you know, they had a green light to do a series, a web series, what Street Fighter Assassin's Fist is. Okay, so Street Fighter Assassin's Fist was a bit more bigger scale than Street Fighter Legacy, which was a small little pitch. And Street Fighter Assassin's Fist was so big on Machinima on YouTube because that's where it was at the time. There was 12 episodes. Each video episode had good views, good likes, good reviews, and critics were really liked it. So after all this, you know, Joey Ansa wanted to do the Street Fighter World Warrior story, you know, the storyline of Street Fighter World Warrior, but he knew it was too big, so he had to shelve that, and that's when they did Street Fighter Legacy, and then they did Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, and then it grew from that. Now they want to go into Street Fighter World Warrior, but the problem was that it's so big and so complicated and so mixed that they have to do it right. In order to do it right, they have to make sure everything fits properly, and they're making the right canon. So they're talking to Capcom, they're trying to make sure if this is right, this is correct, or they're trying to make it up if it sounds and feels right on the mark. So it's not easy to grab different mixed, scattered things in material and put it together, you know, but they want to do it properly. They're trying to add little detail here and there properly and right. Okay, so now that you got that out of the way, Street Fighter Resurrection was done because Street Fighter 5 came out. Street Fighter 5 is a great way to promote, and that's how they're able to make money. The thing is that the Street Fighter Resurrection is owned by Machinima, and Machinima has this thing called Go 90, and it's on the Go 90 app. You can get the Go 90 app and download it on Verizon mobiles devices, on iPhones. You can download it, okay, and download and watch the Street Fighter Resurrection 4-part mini web series, okay. And who knows, it might be on YouTube later on down the line. That's what they're saying, but they're not sure. They'll let us know once that happens, but they're not quite sure when it's going to come out, okay. So that's the thing of marketing. Joey Ansa is focused on making it. He's made Street Fighter Resurrection. Now it's all part of marketing. The marketing property, all he can do is just kind of sit back and wait for the next thing to happen. So during all this, this is a good way to make merchandise, and the merchandising pays well. Okay, pays really good, so they can make Street Fighter World Warrior. They want to make a multi-arc of Street Fighter World Warrior. Okay, they want to make the costumes right, the characters right, the story right, and everything properly fit together. Now, I'm going to go quickly into the synopsis of the story of the World Warrior storyline. Okay, so you have the background with Ryu and Ken. That has never been resolved, because in the first Street Fighter game, you are introduced to Ryu as like the primary character. Okay, the primary character, and Ryu fights off against a lot of the opponents. He goes to Japan and fights off against Retsu and Geki, and then after that he goes to USA and he fights on Joe and then Mike, and then after that he goes to China and he fights Lee and Gen. And then after that he goes and fights in England against Birdie and Eagle. Okay, then after that he goes to Thailand and he fights Adon and then Sagat, the Muay Thai champion of the Street Fighter World Warrior tournament, the first one. Okay, so Ryu wins, but he doesn't want the trophy. He doesn't want glory. Okay, and you don't know why. You don't know why this is happening. Why he just takes off. People are like, why did he just take off? He's a warrior. That's what he does. He's a new challenger every day. Okay, and during this gameplay, if you're a second player, the second player can pick Ken, an American martial artist that is a counterpart of Ryu. Okay, and if you defeat Ryu, you can play as Ken. Okay, that's how you use and play as Ken in Street Fighter, the first game. Okay, but that wasn't the properly done, because how did Ryu? It turns out that Ryu and Ken were trained by the same master. Okay, the same master, but people are like, why? What the heck? Like, how did Ken get there? Like, how does he know all this? So. In Street Fighter 2, in Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 4, you don't know. You really don't know, So, Joey Ansa made a background about Ryu and Ken, a proper story from Goken's perspective, from Goki's perspective, who becomes Akuma, from Ryu's perspective, from Ken's perspective, how he got there, what's wrong with Ryu, the origin story of what's going on with Ryu, and that is great art and masterful critical writing on their part, making a great plot that makes sense to the canon. You haven't seen that yet. You don't know. You never knew. If you didn't have watched the film, they never have made this. You would never have known. Okay, you would have thought Chun-Li was the main character, Guile was the main character. You wouldn't have known that Ryu and Ken are the main characters, because when Street Fighter 1 came out, no one really knew it came out. Most of the people that played Street Fighter 2 at that time were like kids. So when Street Fighter 1 came out, they didn't even know that existed. Okay, it existed, but they had no idea it existed at the time. When Street Fighter 2 came out, I was like, 7? Okay, I was 7. And I was like, whoa, this is a difficult, challenging game. Okay, Street Fighter 2 World Warrior, I played it for the Super Nintendo. That was when I found out, and it was a challenging game, really hard. I kept losing, coming back, kept losing, coming back. It was so fun to play and challenging. You never get games like that. Okay, and it had multiple characters, and you're like, okay, is there a story to this? Is there a reason this is happening? Like, you're thinking that, like, who is this military guy known as Guile? Who's this Asian, kung fu master that's so good that can do this spinning stuff and strong, the strongest woman in the world, Chung Li, right? Then you have Zangief, this wrestler that can suplex you and body slam you, dude. Then you have E Honda, a sumo wrestler that has the agility of Ryu and Ken. What the heck? You have Dalsum, a yoga master who can breathe fire and stretch his arms out. You also have, who else? You also have Blanca, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, acrobatic fighter, okay, from Brazil. That's like half beast, half fighter, half warrior that protects his tribe, protects his village, and he's born to fight other warriors from different villages. That's awesome, right? And you also have new challengers that appear in the different games like Street Fighter New Challengers. But I never knew about that. All I knew was about Street Fighter World Warrior. That's all I knew. Okay, that's the only game that I played. But along the way, going to arcades, I also played Street Fighter Alpha, and I had no idea that Street Fighter Alpha was the beginning. Street Fighter Alpha was before Street Fighter 2. And it wasn't a tournament, it was stories based on each individual character, how it came to be to Street Fighter 2. Okay, but you never knew that. It never tells you that. Okay, and then Street Fighter 3 came out, and Street Fighter 3, like what? Really? Like I had no idea that Street Fighter 3 came out, because Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Street Fighter Alpha 3 came out as well. So I didn't know they were similar in a lot of ways. So what the heck's going on here? Is there a story? I feel confused. I have no idea what's going on. Is these just fighting games that just randomly making, or like is there a story? There are people like that, and that's what Joey Ansa. Okay, Joey Ansa and Christian Howard did. They were like me. They were like you. The people who knew there was a story about Street Fighter. There had to be, and that's what Street Fighter World Warrior is about. Street Fighter World Warrior, the backstory was Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. It was the introduction to Ryu and Ken. Okay, now they're in America in the new one, and now they're gonna go on the Street Fighter, I believe, 1 World Warrior tournament, their first Warriors pilgrimage. Okay, where they fight the first tournament where I just said previously. Okay, after that, Ken returns back to America during the Alpha series. And Ryu goes back to Japan to talk to Goken after his little victory. What happened was he was obsessed. He was possessed by the Satsu no Hado, the same form that Akuma used on himself. But he had no idea, and that's how he defeated Sagat. He gave him a scar by doing a Shuriken on Sagat, okay, and took him down. You don't know that, okay? You see it on the anime, but you have no idea that, okay? And because of this, Ryu's scared, so he goes back to Japan, and to only find Goken dead, he's been killed. Someone killed him, and he contacts Ken. Ken comes down, and they both piece it together. Turns out that Akuma killed Goken, and Ryu and Ken go fight Akuma. They get taken down easily. He doesn't care about Ken, but he sees potential in Ryu. Okay, there's potential in Ryu, and he tells Ryu, I want you to get strong, and I want you to travel and fight other fighters, because I want to fight you again to test your strength again. I want to tap into your abilities. You have the Satsu no Hado in you, and I want to unleash that. Once I unleash that, one of us will die to the death. That's what Akuma believes in. So during this time, during the Alpha, other characters are introduced: Chun-Li, Gaio, Blanca, Dalsim. More characters are introduced. Vega, Balrog, the 12 dolls, Julie and Junie, and Bison's Evo Shadowloo Cartel, and all that. And during this time, Ryu is traveling the world, and Ken is in tournaments, and he defeats Charlie Nash. He becomes a U.S. champion, and then he meets Elisa, and then kind of settles down, but he still wants to fight Ryu because of what happened in the first Street Fighter tournament thing. And during this, he gets abducted by Bison. Bison seduces Ken, and he becomes a violent Ken. Ryu comes to take on his friend. He defeats Ken, but Bison comes out and throws him over, like whatever. and Sagat appears and feels like, I want to fight Ryu. This is, and so Bison possesses Ryu, and Sagat takes on Ryu while he's possessed, during this time. Finally, during all these years, during all this, all the people that he fought, all of them help him tap into the what's called the power of nothingness, and he's able to embrace it, and he unleashes it, and every fighter, okay, helps him tap into the power of nothingness, and he unleashes it, and he kills off M. Bison, okay, with that power. That's why Ryu fights. That's why he wanders the world. He believes that if he fights people, it'll make him stronger and worthy for himself. Because he doesn't feel he's worthy as a fighter. He doesn't. And Ken doesn't feel he's worthy as a fighter. None of them do. That's what makes them great characters. They know they can lose, and there's so much to lose. Okay? You have all these multiple characters during this alpha thing, and to do it justice, it takes a lot of time. Okay, the alpha is probably going to go through alpha, alpha 2, and alpha 3, so it's going to take a while. So then, after that, Ryu goes back to Japan to train in the caves and meets Akuma again. Ryu faces Akuma and then defeats, Akuma. Okay, he defeats Akuma, but Akuma beats him down again, telling him that he wasn't using his full strength. He breaks the island that Ryu and Akuma were on, and tells him that at the next Street Fighter World Warrior tournament, that he will be the final opponent if he wins the tournament. So that's his goal. Ryu wants to win the tournament so he can defeat Akuma and prove that he doesn't need to do the Sasuno Hado, okay, to best him. Okay, so during all this time, you have Ken, you have Chun-Li, you have Guile, you have Charlie. Charlie dies. Guile gets obsessed with defeating M. Bison. Then you have Chun-Li, who's out for revenge. Oh, so much stuff going on. Okay. Meanwhile, Ryu and Ken are in the center of it, while everyone else are the cornerstones. Every character has their own stories. Cammy, DJ, Fei Long, and T-Hawk, everyone, all the Street Fighters leading into the Street Fighter World Warrior Tournament 2 has a story. And that's where Joey Ansa and the team, the Street Fighter Assassin's Fist team, are going. Okay, that's the route. They're trying to do it properly and justice. So Street Fighter 2, okay, Ryu's going to travel the world and face other opponents like Dhalsim and train them and stuff. The thing is, Street Fighter 2 is going to have a lot of characters in the adaptation that they're trying to make. It's going to be every Street Fighter character that they have fought in this. They might have Guy and Sodom and Hagar and Cody in there as well. Maybe they might even do a Final Fight spin-off. Okay, because Final Fight was supposed to be Street Fighter 2. Okay, because Ken was in it, but they instead turned it into Kevin. Okay, to make it sure, because that's not Ken, but it is Ken. It is Ken. It's funny. So they can do a Final Fight kind of crossover where Ryu and Ken help the Final Fight characters during the Metro City kind of thing. That could be cool. And then later on they appear in the Street Fighter tournament. You know what I mean? That'd be cool. Okay. And this is hosted by M. Bison, who somehow survived. Okay. He found a new body, and he was able to possess Rose's body. And then after they no longer needed use of it, he found a new proper body, and now his true intention was to use the Psycho Power Drive that he made to destroy the world, and only the Street Fighter characters will survive. He only believes that the strong will survive, and only the strong deserve to survive, but that's not what we want. Chun-Li doesn't want this, Guile doesn't want this, none of the Street Fighters want this. Okay, so they all want to win the tournament. They have to win the tournament. It isn't like, the first Street Fighter movie or Mortal Kombat. No, it's going to be a tournament. It's going to be a tournament. That's going to be awesome. A full-blood tournament. There, people will win and people will lose, and that's it. Okay? The thing is, this is perfect for Guile and Chun-Li. Okay, and even Ken. Because during Ryu is fighting in this tournament, they could lose. They can pull all their strength all they want, but they can lose. Okay, they can lose because they can go under the radar. They can go under the radar without Bison knowing, because Bison will be so focused on Ryu winning and fighting other Street Fighters. Okay, and this is what Bison wants. Okay, so Ryu gets all the way to the end and has to face the Masters. Yes, the Masters will be in it. He has to face Balrog, Vega, and then finally Sagat in a final rematch. He defeats Sagat, proves himself worthy, and then goes face off Bison. Ryu and Bison fight while Chun-Li, Guile, and Ken face off against soldiers from Shadaloo and try and find a way to destroy Shadaloo, the Shadaloo base. That'll be cool. That'll be epic. And also the Street Fighters that have lost would help them as well. Okay, because they feel, okay, this isn't right. Okay, they're gonna try and take down this Shadaloo base as fast as they can. All the Street Fighters together are joining forces. Okay, kind of like an Avengers kind of thing. Okay, while Ryu faces off against Bison, Akuma comes out and kills Bison, and then the final fight is right there between Ryu and Akuma. Okay, the final fight is finally upon us. Ryu versus Akuma. The battle since the background of Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, the battle since Street Fighter 1, the battle since Street Fighter Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, and now Street Fighter 2, the World Warrior. Okay, that's like 5 arcs already. That's like 5 arcs, and they went through all these arcs. Okay, so the show's gonna have that. The show's gonna have the first arc, Assassin's Fist, and it's gonna have the next arc, and the next arc, and the next arc, and the next. It probably might be even 5 seasons long of a series of arcs that's gonna lead into this. Okay, and it's been leading up to this. Joey Onsen and Christian Howard, they know what they're doing. They're going to do it properly. They know they need to have a win. One of them needs to win or die. Okay, this is it. This is the finale. The finale. And Joey Onsen knows deep down in his heart there needs to be a proper finale. Even if it's 4 or 5 episodes long of a finale, it needs to be what it is. It needs to be, because it's so epic. It's so epic. They might even make it into a movie, a movie at the theaters or something, and it's gonna be epic to see Ryu and Akuma. This has led from Assassin's Fist all the way to Street Fighter World Warrior, okay, from the games. But they made it to canon. They canonized it so that it makes sense, okay. So when you're playing the games, you understand, okay. You understand the story, and that's awesome. That's a rich way to do it, because we all know Ryu wins. We all know Ryu wins. People are like, they don't know who won. Ryu wins. Ryu has to have won. Why? Because Akuma has changed. Akuma has changed his philosophy. Okay? He lost to Ryu because Ryu was able to embrace the power of nothingness. He was able to embrace the power of nothingness, and he defeated Akuma. He knocked him out, winning the tournament. Ryu won the tournament, okay? He finally defeated Akuma, and Akuma admitted it. Why? Because in Street Fighter 4, okay, he wants to take Ryu as a student, okay? Because he proved himself worthy, okay, to be a student of Akuma, okay? But Goken appears in Street Fighter 4, and they fight to have possession of Ryu. Who gets to have Ryu? Who gets to be the master of Ryu? Okay, that's what we know, and it has a good final folding to the series that we've been watching from day one till now, and that is brilliantly the way they're gonna do it. Okay, they're gonna do it because that's the hardcore way, that's the fan way. Okay, they're getting it from the Udon comics, and they're getting it from the video games, and they're getting it from like the bios of characters, and they're getting it from research material of Street Fighter. Everything Street Fighter, they're getting little clips here and there, putting it together and making something great out of it. A great structured story with detail, plot, and love, sweat pouring out of this. Okay, Street Fighter World Warrior. The storyline is going to be huge. It's going to be big. Okay, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about, guys. So be patient, okay? Be patient with them, because they deserve every respect, because Street Fighter Assassin's Fist was good. Street Fighter Legacy was good. Street Fighter Resurrection was good. Even though it's a short series, web series, it was good. It was like having dessert, okay? you have Street Fighter Legacy, okay, that was a snack. Then you have Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. That was the appetizer, okay, the appetizer, okay. Then you have Street Fighter Resurrection. That was a side dish, a nice little side dish. Then you have Street Fighter World Warrior, the main meal, the main course, and that's going to be the best, juiciest thing of it all. So we have to give them props for what they did, and I'm happy to be a Street Fighter Legacy fan, a Street Fighter Assassin's Fist fan, and I'm happy doing these videos for you all who love Street Fighter. And I'm going to do more. I'm going to do more video vlogs as best as I can, okay? I'm going to do everything from the comics to fan-made videos as best as I can. I'm going to do it for you guys because I know you guys like Street Fighter, and I love Street Fighter, alright? So thank you guys for watching this video. Okay, that will be the end of the Street Fighter World Warrior 2 or the World Warrior storyline. That's how they will end that. Okay, I don't know if they're going to go on and do Street Fighter 4 and then 5 and then 3 and then Street Fighter X. I'm not sure. Okay, because by that time, Joe Jansa, Mike Moe, and Christian Howard will be old. You know, even Joe Jansa said, okay, we don't want to wait forever to do this. We don't want to be old. We want to do a good story and we want to make it count. You know what I mean? So they want to prove that if they can do this, other people can do this. Other people will be able to follow what they're doing, and maybe they can do Street Fighter 4 and then Street Fighter 5 and then Street Fighter 3. Who knows? Maybe Joey Ans is gonna like focus his entire life to do the Street Fighter properly. Maybe when Street Fighter 6 comes out, Capcom will say, all right, we want to end this entire series somehow, and this is how we're going to end it for the show, for the film series or the show series, you know, and then they'll end it. That'd be awesome, and I'll get the complete set. I'll get it, and I know you guys will. Okay, thank you guys for watching this video. Please leave a like and subscribe for more, and leave a comment below. Okay, leave a comment below